have this unquenchable thirst. You're constantly seeking for what? Who knows? But you've had it for a long time. This desire, this overwhelming need to find whatever it is. I used to think that that was unique only to me until I really started getting to know people. Turns out we all, to some degree, have this empty, hollow, unfulfilled part of ourselves that causes us to look, to search, to ask questions, and to consider many a crazy idea and proposition. Consider many a strange doctrine or answer, because the world is full of answers. I think this explains the human condition in a lot of ways, and I think this deep set desire that's set in all of us is there for a reason, and it was put there quite intentionally. Sure, there are temporary things that will give you that sense of fulfillment when you find them. Perhaps false doctrines and false religious practices will temporarily fill that void, only for you to feel hollow again. Perhaps the endless search for alcohol or drugs or sex will temporarily fill that void, or at least numb your senses enough that the desire to find truth, the desire to find whatever it is, goes away. Even atheism itself temporarily probably fills a void because it answers all the questions that you've been seeking all this time. And if nothing else, it helps you to explain away your rejection of the Christian answer. At church this week, my pastor covered the topic, why is God given us one way? Because as Christ puts it in Scripture, He is the way, the truth, the life, and no one goes to the Father but by Him. And he addresses how arrogant a statement this seems, especially to the outside world. And I, for one, am not so far removed from being a seeker that I remember thinking that is such an arrogant statement, that is such a offensive statement. And it wasn't until I just decided, let's sit down, let's get in a private part of my apartment where it's just me, and let's just be sincere and open and cry out to God. Let's lay it on the line. And for once, if that is where the answer is, let's do this. Let's invite God into my heart, and let's admit that we have studied Jesus Christ and that we believe that He actually was sent here, and invite Him into our hearts, and invite Him to change us, invite us to finally give us that fulfillment. I'm using the third person here, but I'm talking about my personal revelation, but I'm challenging you to do the same thing. You may feel silly, you may have rejected God to the point that you literally can't imagine Him being real. But that vacuum, that emptiness you feel will never be fulfilled until you do this. The way my pastor kind of concluded was with a quote, and I don't remember the source of the quote, but he said, complaining that there's only one way to God is kind of like complaining that there's only one cure to cancer. If we were to give you the cure to cancer and it was in the form of a green pill, rejecting that, though you have this condition of cancer, because it's a green pill and you really wanted a blue one, or you wanted multiple options and maybe an injectable medicine or an herbal remedy, would be kind of interesting. I mean, it would be absurd. And the quote that my pastor used was, it's not amazing, really, that there's only one way back to God. It's amazing that he provided any way at all. I think just like when we're born and we end up with one of these. It's just a reminder that we were once connected to a source where we were fully taken care of, fully warm, fully fed, fully comfortable. I think we have a spiritual version of that empty scar that tells us we were once connected to the source of life. And that's why we long and strive every day of our waking moments to reconnect to that source, to find that source. And that's why everything else feels hollow and empty when we connect to it, because it's not truth. It's not the source. Just something to think about. Until next time.